Hi guys, today we are here to talk about what I mean by living in the in-between. We're here to talk about life. We're here to talk about the ups and downs. We're here to talk about the ebb and flow. We're here to talk about what it feels like to live in what I always call the in-between. The in-between basically is my way of describing what it's like to live with triggers and what it's like to live with the energy of manifestation and creation, what we can do with these triggers, what we can do with the energy of anxiety, what we can do with the energy of feeling like we are stuck, what we can do with the energy of confusion. It's about living in this lack, but also living in this fulfilling, manifesting, and abundance. You can live in both places. And it's about mastering the triggers and mastering this negative pattern of thinking. So we're going to start off by discussing energy, and then we're going to go ahead and follow it with discussion of brain patterns and neuroplasticity and how both pieces go hand in hand. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I got to where I am and what I'm doing next Thursday and where I'm going next Thursday. We're going to do this real quick because I could talk for hours. So let's start with living in the in-between. What it means to live in the in-between is recognizing that life has to change, right? Coming to a point in our lives where what is happening right now is not working out for us, and we want to be able to move into more of an abundant place, of a place where we get the things that, not only the things that we need, but the things that we want. And if you watch one of the past videos that I posted, I told you guys that the way that you align, the way that you get the things that you want, the way that you create the things that you want is by going inward and looking at what has happened to you and what you allowed to happen to you in a time in your life where you didn't know any better, and forgiving yourself for being in a place where you didn't know any better. And that's difficult to do because we spend a lot of time in this sort of like guilt space, and anytime that we get triggered by sounds, by voices, by things people say to us, we can become extremely reactive. So it's about tuning into our inner vibrations and finding ways to heal and to get to a place where we have the tools necessary to move forward in our lives. You can live in a space where you are unhappy, but you are also moving towards the goals that you want to accomplish. How do you do that? By recognizing that what happened to you, the abuse that you endured, the trauma that you lived through, the triggers that you feel are within your body are not defining who you are. They're not defining who you're going to be moving forward. So from my experience, my triggers come from intimate relationships. And the only way for me to be able to have intimate relationships again are to be able to focus with the energy work of Reiki to tap into those chakras that hold these feelings. And not only that, but to tap into the ability to reprogram your brain. You were given a set of rules in your household, or you were given a set of rules when you were little or when you were in a relationship that are not applying to your present situation, that you want to move forward and move past them. So in order to be able to move past them, you have to practice something that's called cognitive behavioral therapies, or cognitive behavioral theories, or even cognitive behavioral principles. And that is to look at the way that your brain is formed around these trigger points. And that's when we talk about neuroplasticity. Your ideas and your thought patterns are formed in a very young age based around the environment that you're in. And our brains are developed from the bottom up. They're developed from our reptilian brain, the brain that keeps us safe, that is connected to our fight or flight. And then it's built upwards to our frontal lobes, which are able to look into emotions and feelings. So if you're growing up in an environment that is toxic, or you are in relationships that is extremely toxic, and you're coming from a place where you don't know the difference between what you should be surrounded with, which is peace, love, acceptance, unconditional love, we tended to be connected to people that are similar to our childhoods or similar to our first relationships. We are community people. We are communal mammals, right? We want to be surrounded by all the love and the positivity. And unfortunately, I think the percentage is 86% of the population of the United States have been through some kind of traumatic experience. So that means that you have been through a traumatic experience. I've been through a traumatic experience. And if I had people sitting next to me, the chances are they've been through traumatic experiences. But you can create the space to do the things that you want to do by looking inward and rewiring that pre-programming that you had, rewiring those neurons, the way that they fire and message with each other, by not only looking into Reiki energy, but life mentoring and life coaching. And what I do when I do life mentoring is I focus on these patterns of behavior. And as an intuitive, I can tap into where along the line in your life something went awry, where your brain misfired the communication of where your safety is. So living in the in-between is living in the healing and the awareness that something did happen to you, and looking at the fact that there is nothing wrong with you, and that there is space and there is movement and there's ability to pre-program through cognitive behavioral exercises that bring you to the present moment and allow you the space to manifest. And in manifesting, we create the space to get what we want by being gentle with ourselves and ebbing, flowing through the emotions. You can wake up one morning feeling like absolute shit, and you can create the mindfulness space of being like, okay, I don't feel good. Today is going to be a great day regardless of how I feel. I'm going to take whatever happens, whether I'm tripping over my feet, whether my coffee spills, as a sign that I need to create more space and mindfulness, living in the in-between of the triggers and the creativity of moving past these triggers into opportunity, into the space of creation. We want a life to live. We feel stuck when we can't financially afford things that we cannot afford. I can tell you right now that I was in an abusive relationship. I moved away from it, and it's still very triggering. I still have moments where my ex finds things that he needs to do or say to bring me down, and I have to bring the awareness back to my body and to understand that I know better. I have learned better. And whatever triggers I find or whatever moments I find that I can get out of the way, I ask for help. I either go to a shaman, I either go to Reiki practice, my Reiki practitioner, or I go to see my therapist, or I journal. And a lot of you are like, journaling is stupid. A lot of my clients don't like to journal. Journaling is about getting things out of your body. You need to vomit up all the negative energy that's within you, whether you exercise or do yoga or write it on a piece of paper or go see Reiki Energy Healing or have a life mentor or a coach or a therapist. And there are ways to create the space to be able to move into the life that you want. And speaking of moving into the life that you want, I created a vision board class a few years ago, and I created one this year, and I created a new vision board for myself, and I'm gonna be building a new vision board class. And the cliche of a vision board is something that makes a lot of people uncomfortable. You can name it anything you want. Words and titles are just words and titles. They can be called anything at all. So it could be called a vision of manifestation. It could be called a plan. It could be called a business plan, a business visual, a vision, to create the time and the space of the things that you want to create. I'm here at Lightheart Wellness as a Reiki master and as a life mentor and as a mindfulness and meditation teacher. A dream that I had 3 years ago, a dream that came into fruition a year ago. Not only that, but I am also managing the social media accounts. Not only that, but I'm creating this space for brand new things coming into my vision that I'm creating. And also I've created this wonderful space in the finances from nothing. I had nothing. I was living out of cans. I was not knowing how I was going to pay my bills. I didn't know how I was going to feed my kids. I didn't know how I was going to put clothes on my body or clothes on their body. I was working 90 hours overnights at the hospital, which I still work at part-time because I just love that place. And right now is exactly where I'm aligning. But I wanted more freedom. So I created it by healing what happened to me, by forgiving those that didn't know any better, and by forgiving myself. And that is the biggest step that you need to take. You need to recognize what happened to you. What happened does not define you, does not define where you're going. It does not define the life that you're trying to create. Being hard on yourself for being in pain, that is a big red flag for yourself. You should be feeling every feeling. You're not going to wake up every morning feeling great. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to acknowledge every feeling. You're supposed to be honest with yourself. You're supposed to show up. Showing up is a huge step. And if you're here with me right now, and you're showing up here for yourself right now, that is the biggest thing that you can do for yourself. Just showing up. Just saying yes to the opportunity to be able to move forward and move past a lot of the things that have held you down. Living in the in-between is living in healing and in manifesting, is living in presenting your case and showing up for yourself while standing up to narcissists that are in your life, while standing up to sociopaths that are in your life, while showing up and creating the space of something even better. If the job that you're in doesn't fit you anymore and makes you uncomfortable, you should see that as a positive thing, because there's technically no such thing as positive and negative. In the grand scheme of things, there might be. But in the scheme of things, when we look at our lives, everything is there to teach us something that we need to look into to create the life that we want, to heal and to manifest and to lean more towards love and creation. So in my experience, in my first vision board that I created, the first step that I wanted to do was wanted to be a Reiki master. The second thing I wanted to do is I wanted to be a life mentor. I wanted to coach others and bring others to their awareness and teach them about neuroplasticity and pre-programming and reprogramming your neural pathways and recalibrating the nervous system, teaching mindfulness, teaching meditation. And I wanted to create a business that gave me the freedom to come and go as I wanted. I also wanted to be able to go home to Spain multiple times a year. I also want to be able to travel with my children and travel the world. And I want to be able to travel everywhere. So next week on Thursday, I am going away to Spain by myself. It was something I've manifested. I've worked really hard for. I've really focused my energy on making this space for the things that I want. And if you watched one of my last videos, we talked about guilt. Guilt is a flag, a red flag within our bodies. It's a trigger point. Guilt comes from creating the space of the things that we want against with people that don't want the best for us, against them. Because we put too much weight on people that are not loving us unconditionally. Because why? Because we don't know any better. Those people that love you unconditionally, that really belong in your life, regardless of what your life looks like, regardless of the choices that you make, regardless where you are, they're going to love you and support you unconditionally, lead you in the direction that you should be going at. Whether you go or not, that is a decision that you make. Those people that don't want you to succeed will be telling you negative things about the decisions that you're making instead of loving you and supporting you along the way. So living in the in-between is living with the tears of the past and healing them and creating the space of the present moment by being mindful and envisioning what you want your future to look like, while reprogramming, while rewiring your neuron communication, and while rewiring your reptilian brain, and giving yourself the love that you deserve by overcoming what happened to you. You're exactly where you need to be. The first choice is yours. The choices after that become easier. If you want to create the space where you manifest the life, the job, the money, the travel, the health, anything like that aligns with your life, your present moment, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, is exactly where you need to be. It's the space that you have to create to be able to get to where you need to be. You're in the in-between. Accept it, love it, and find the help that you need from professionals and people that have gone through it before you, that can hold you in the space of healing and tell you what steps to take. The choice is yours. And it's possible, because if I did it, if I'm possible, you're possible, I'm possible. Repeat that over and over and over again. I'm so glad that you guys were here with me. Again, I can talk a million miles an hour for the rest of my life, but for now, I'm going to let you guys go with this wonderful moment of expression. And I hope you guys tune in next week, because it's a brand new adventure. I'm going to Valencia. I haven't been to Valencia for fallas in a very long time. I think I was like 5 or 6. And then I get to go meet my cousin's brand new baby and hug my parents and my grandmother and hike a mountain I've been wanting to hike forever. So stay tuned here with me, guys. I love you all so much. I'm so glad that you're here. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you. Bye.